It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap. How to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week, we interview a great agent who's consistently taking several listings each month, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. Let me introduce my co-host from San Diego. She is on assignment in Los Angeles, Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's the real estate business?
Hey, Ron. Hey, everybody. The real estate business is great. I'm at a really cool event up here in LA and still prospecting and making my calls.
Good job.
Yeah.
And before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everybody that we are also simulcasting the show on the private lead gen group on Facebook. They have 52,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. And we will be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the lead gen folks. Let's welcome our guest today from Kansas City, Mr. Jim Fussell. Did I pronounce that right? Was it
you
close?
did, man.
Good.
Hi, Jim. How's it going?
I'm good, Carly. How are you?
Good. And beautiful, sunny LA, so I'm happy.
You got a little bit nicer place to be than I.
Oh, come on. So how long have you been in real estate?
You know, I've had my license for 7 years, but I've been I got my license just to buy houses for myself for investment properties, but I started selling April the 9th of last year, so 16, 18 months.
16 or 18 months. So really, you're very, 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 very new to the business.
I wake up reminding myself, Ren, every morning how green I am. Yes.
You're still a freshman.
I am
How
still
many transactions? I mean, how many transactions do you have open and closed so far this year? Open and closed.
We've closed 27, and we've got 4 pending, and we've got 7 active.
So 31 open and closed.
Yeah.
And about 7 in inventory. Okay. So you're going to do 45, 50 this year.
That's what I'd like to have. My goal is 42, double what we did last year. That's my goal.
With barely a year and a half in the business, and you're already going to knock down 45 a year already out of the gate. That fast. So people are going to want to know what your secret is. Or all of them.
Yeah. How to double your business in a year? We need to know.
Double it. He's gone from zero to 40 in 3 seconds flat.
I like it. Maserati style.
That's it.
So what are you doing to change your business? What was this big epiphany, or what changed?
In the last, what time frame?
Year.
Well, tell us give us a progression, because tell us what you were doing earlier in the year for business, and then you made a switch about 6 weeks ago. What that process looked like? How many you were getting from that process, and how many you're getting from this process?
Yeah, so I spent 17 years in sales, selling technology and logistics solutions, but made an abrupt change in that, do some personnel changes in the company. And so I found myself one day waking up and having a new job. And so, yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And so I looked and said, hey, how's the fastest way to build this? And so I've always been a cold call salesman. Even in high-end sales, I found that I could go to trade shows and do other things and get my own leads faster than I could get them out of a database. Mm-hmm. So I took that principle and just applied it in the residential real estate. I'd take the car at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd pull in a subdivision, and I wouldn't let myself go home till I had knocked on 3 hours worth of doors, whatever that was.
Wow.
And so I could, I had my first closings, or 2 or 3 closings in June of last year, and I got it to where I was just consistently putting in 2 a month, 2.5 a month, and I got to where I knew I could get it to 35 transactions a year. Mm-hmm.
So door knocking in Kansas City, you got it down to where you could do 3 transactions a month, roughly.
I did 2.5 to 3. 2.5 to 3. Yes.
Okay. Door knocking.
Okay.
Correct.
then you decided to change.
Yeah. When I got into this, I basically pulled the top 5 real estate agencies in Kansas City and said, how many agents are on their team? Divide the number of transactions by the agents. How many is a really good real estate agent doing? And I said, well, they're doing 30 to 32 to 35 transactions a year. I've never considered myself to be average. And so I said, well, I at least first year, I want to at least get on that run rate. And I hit that run rate at least. And then I said, well, I want to increase.
What change did you make to do that jump? Were you door knocking 6 hours a day, or what did you change to go up to 30 deals?
So I did 21 in 8 months, and on a run rate, a 12-month run rate, that was about 30.
Okay.
And so, which is what we're doing this year. But then I wanted to increase that by 50%, get to 40 to 50. Mm-hmm. And I just realized I couldn't do it. No matter how many doors I knocked, I couldn't make it go any faster. And so just got to researching, how do I get the velocity up? Mm-hmm. And that's when I learned about Vulcan7. Actually, I heard about Vulcan7 from someone else, and I called Ren texted Ren one Saturday morning and said, tell me about this. And he picked up the phone, we had a conversation, mm-hmm. and I've been on it for a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
How's it going?
I wish I could tell you that it's perfection and I've mastered it. I can't. I can tell you that I know I'm using a powerful tool. I'm going to keep using it, but I'm rusty.
Some hard numbers. Have you gotten an appointment out of it?
Yeah, so if I get on a dialer for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, I'll set 1 to 3 appointments. I'm averaging 1 to 2 right now, but I'm getting 1 to 2 hours on the phone every day.
And you're calling it expireds or FSBOs or both?
Calling both. So I'm trying my hardest to do the expireds first thing in the morning, and then do the FSBOs after that.
And then how many listings have you taken in how many weeks?
Yeah, I've taken 4 listings, and I'd say I've been using it a month and a half. I've taken 4 listings, closed 1, 2 pending, and 1's active.
So you're basically running almost one listing taken a week.
Yes.
Yeah, when you look at that, that's pretty darn good for being brand new on it.
It doesn't feel that way. I feel really rusty, and it's frustrating a lot of days, but... what are you noticing that works? Because after you have 6 weeks, you start noticing, well, that didn't work. Well, that didn't work. Well, that didn't work. Oh, this works. Any observations? The things that you all teach people, if you just come in, get on it, stay on it, discipline yourself to stay on it, it just works. I can really see the facts of that.
Yeah, just staying on the phone and doing it consistently 5 days a week, 6 days if you want, it just all starts to fall into place.
It does. My frustration is just that it's with me, and it's the discipline. It's the discipline it takes to become more mechanical. I'm a high I personality.
I did pick up on that a little bit.
It's hard to manage me. That's my biggest frustration of all.
Carly, I'm going to let you go because I know they want you on stage in a few minutes.
Yep.
So I will, although the ratings are going to drop instantly.
No, come on. You guys can do it. Maybe you should do a role play. Thanks for tuning in, you guys.
Good. All righty. So right out of the gate, brand new, to take 1 listing a week is pretty marvelous. For somebody new on that system, because it takes a little bit of it's so skill based when you're talking to expireds and for sale by owners, unless they're older expireds, and those are a little easier.
But, that's the part, at least where I'm at, that's the part that's hard. I've been in sales 17 years. I've always been a top producer in what I was doing, and so naturally real estate is more simple than what I've done in the past. However, the skills that's required, the speed, the skills, learning that's been a challenge. Yeah.
Right. There's a recipe.
There's a recipe. I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And based on what we know from what you've done, door knocking and running at a rate of 3 a month and trying to get to 5 or 6 by now talking to people that have a home for sale and no agent. Sounds like you're going to get to 50 or 60. Or start operating at a rate of pretty quickly. More like 4 a month.
That's the magic of this. It's my attraction is when I first started doing this, you have a wow moment when you've knocked on as many doors as I've knocked on, and you have to go through, I'd knock on 30 doors and I'd walk home with 2 prospects, and you convert those to probably a third to a half of a lead every day. That's what you would find.
I know, I've done that door knocking. It takes, although you're in such good physical shape. All that door knocking, you're out there walking for miles, so that'll keep you in shape. But,
right.
So, we don't want to eliminate door knocking altogether. One of the nice techniques is to put a little dot on a map of all the for sale bonus expires and draw a linear line and go stop, drive a little bit, knock on a door, drive to the next dot, knock on a door, drive to and knock on all the expires and FSBOs. Go to 11 of them. You're probably going to meet 3 of them and set 1 appointment, maybe 2.
You may already booked me one.
I have not done that. Matter of fact, I printed out, so everything I called on today, I printed out with some intention of doing that.
Yeah, that's for folks. If you can't reach them on the phone, put a little dot on a map, put it in a little circular shape. So you start here, you go out here, and then circle back around in a linear fashion. And the numbers are good. They have a home for sale and no agent. So the odds of door knocking that for the same amount of time, if you door knock those for 3 hours, the yield is there.
Mm-hmm.
So just a thought with that. So what else are you doing? So now you're going to go shadow some people. It's my understanding you're going to be doing a little bit of shadowing.
I am. So I think Monday I'm going down to see Bernie in Nashville.
Bernie Gallerani in Nashville. Great. That's fantastic. So there's a lot to learn. We used to have a thing called the Vulcan7 Challenge in the earlier shows where we would encourage people to every 4 to 6 weeks go shadow somebody. Because at the end of the year, you've shadowed 8 to 12 people, and you become one of them. You become one of them real fast. Where do you get your scripts from? Where do you get your scripts from?
I use Mike Perry's sales system, and so I've been doing that, and I like it a lot. I like it that it's aggressive sales. And in the real estate industry, there's advice from everywhere, and my attraction to Mike Perry's is just hardcore sales, and it's hard. It's not easy.
Right. Yeah. It's a little more effective than just dropping off some forget-me-not seeds with your business card stapled to them.
Yeah.
Which agents do.
Right. And I'm not opposed to social media, but I've just never found any of those types of things that are that easy to be fast enough. And
Right. Well, there are a lot of ways to work, and as long as we're, communicating with people on some format some live format of communication. If you had 25 live Facebook chats a day, you'd make some headway. Although it would be like door knocking because they don't necessarily have a plan to move. But it's those live contacts. It works. Good. So you're doing some shadowing and you've got some scripts. And so now it's just a matter of practicing and then shadowing people that are doing what you're doing, who are doing it at a higher level. What do you do on the days? I already know the answer to this. What do you do on the days you don't feel like doing it?
You probably, my psyche doesn't give me that option. I like sales, and then for whatever reason, I don't know. I like what I do. I enjoy it. I enjoy the battle of the wits. So sales is, that piece comes relatively easy for me. Now, are there days?
I already knew the answer. You're the one person not to ask that because you're like, what do you mean? I want to go do it.
Yeah. Now, if I'm honest, I will say, this is so new, and it's there's enough challenges to it, and I haven't mastered it yet. That I still get the jitters. You pick the phone up in the morning, and you stumble over the first couple. You don't have the right answers, the wrong questions, and so I still deal with that for sure.
Let me ask you the areas that I know you struggle with. Structure.
For sure.
What about lead follow-up? What kind of lead follow-up system do you use?
Right now, I just put it in my calendar. So if I get on a call and I find a really good lead and I say, that's a good one, I'll just go out a few days and I'll put it on a calendar and try to touch them a couple of times a week. I'm envious of those people that have the high C personality and they put it in the system. I listened to someone on your road show recently and, they put it in a spreadsheet and it's just very mechanical. I'm envious of that. That's harder for me.
Well, there are simple mechanical ways to do it as well as technology. So talk to your coach. Just say, I need a simple lead follow-up system that's more effective than a calendar.
I will.
Because and here's why. Think about it. You're going to get to where days you've got like 7 leads, 2 or 3 appointments. I mean, you're going to get lots of them in one day. And there's circumstances with each one, and you can't just scroll that on a calendar, or you have to get a calendar this big, one of the two, and that's hard to carry around. So talk to your coach on a good lead follow-up system, a simple one, because there are a couple simple ones. How do you track numbers?
I do. I haven't gotten this down enough yet, Ren, that I'm systematic enough to even start tracking numbers. Like, door knocking, I'd done it so long, that was just easy. I knew what the numbers meant. Here, like the mistakes I'm making as I'm taking too long in my listing presentations, I'm going on listing presentations not prepared enough for what the house should be. So sometimes I'll go on a listing presentation and I had my admin assistant print out a CMA for me, but I haven't studied the subdivision, the neighborhood, and things as detailed as I should.
Okay, so you got some work to do, but to be fair, you've only been doing this for a year and a half. And to be fair, you've only been doing Vulcan7 for 6 weeks, of which you're now running at pretty close to taking 1 listing a week, which is huge. So the good news is it's going to look, I'd like to have you on here a year from now, because we're going to
like I'm starting to just figure out what to track and what to do. I've been, for the 6 weeks I've been doing this, I've been in the, I felt like I've just been in the clouds. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm starting to figure out, okay, here's something I've seen repeat itself 3 times. Okay, I'm going to make a system out of that and improve.
Jim, you got a pleasant problem. Folks, so I asked Jim yesterday what an average commission is. An average commission, Jim, is?
Between $6,500 and $7,000.
All right, so if you take $7,000 and you do 40 transactions this year, that's $280. And I said, that's a pretty good number. And he said, well, I also do investment. I make money on investments. So he's really making about $350 this year. That's not bad for pretty new in the business, is it? I'm satisfied for my second year. I just I'm anxious to get this. Steady and repeatable. The traction. You notice, folks, when I said that to him, he had a clenched face and it wasn't a big smile. He's not satisfied with that number. Are you?
For whatever reason, I'm not, and I'm probably.
I love it. Good, because he'll be doing 175 2 years from now when we call him.
I'm probably more satisfied with the dollars than I am the lifestyle I hear you all talk about. I mean, I hear people talk about that come 6 o'clock, they go to home, they turn it off and come back and start it. That's the number one thing that pulled me to Vulcan7 was I was knocking on doors starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not finishing till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and then working all day. And
why did you decide to knock in the evening?
My logic was that, the average person should be working during the day and they're home after hours after work. And so. You don't want to know what the daytime numbers on door knocking in Kansas City would be? Do I know? I don't. I did.
Okay, so let's say you decide to knock from 9 to 12. Okay. One out of 3 will be home. 1 out of 4 will come to the door. High number. It's a high number. Because there's the philosophy of all morning look for business. When you get them late in the day and they're tired, it's a little harder.
Right.
And you're tired. 4, 5, 6 at night, knocking on doors. I know you're probably getting 2 out of 3. And kids, right?
I do, yeah.
Just a thought on the door. See,
No,
Jim doesn't have, he's a self-starter, and he's not happy with where he is now, even though there are a lot of people, Jim, that would be excited to take 1 listing a week. They would love that. So thank you so much for sharing what you're doing, because for many of us watching the show, they're going to look and go, gosh, if he can do that, I can do that.
I do think this is a heck of a business.
Thank you.
I've been in more than one business, and this is a good one.
Good. I know there's no ceiling. There's no boss that says, you're making too much. We're going to cut things back, change it around.
That's the good part of this.
So may we check back with you in about a year and see how it's going?
You can, and thanks for the help you've already provided along the way, Ren. I mean that. I don't take it for granted.
I'm excited. And then you've got another shadow coming up after Bernie. So, folks, go shadow top people. You're going down to Houston, right?
I am, yeah. We're going to go down and see what Lance Loken's group down there, see what they're doing.
Good deal. All right, well, have a great I want to thank our folks. If you're watching on Vulcan7 and you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group, they're at facebook.com/groups/got-objections. I want to thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs that. He has a program called trajectorynow.com. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and not yet involved with Vulcan7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/lead-gen for a special deal. And finally, people have been wondering what Jim Fussell's secret is, why he's relentless, why he's not satisfied with where he is now, because you can see it in his face when we talk about what he's accomplished in such a short time. He's not satisfied. He's driven. Why he doesn't have to struggle on the days he doesn't feel like it. He has the power. He goes online to graders.com down and finds out what store near him carries the delicious Graders Mint Chocolate Chip. This is the one for listings. If you're listing property, it's the mint chocolate chip. The other flavors are for working with buyers, like Rocky Road. If the listing is slow to sell, just dig a hole in the front yard, bury it upside down, and that listing will sell just like that. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll see you guys next week when we have another exciting guest. And thank you, Jim. This has been wonderful. Jim's like, I didn't know that was my secret.
Thank you, Ren. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. See you guys next week.